Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we'll be doing a recap for the movie Possessor. Before getting into our video, subscribe to our channel to avoid missing updates. Spoiler alert, the film starts when a young woman stands in front of the mirror in the bathroom of a hotel room and inserts a metal gadget into the scalp. She stares at her reflection and sobs uncontrollably as whatever voltage is coming into her from the gadget does its work. Later, she stops the device, then wipes her tears and leaves the room. Not long after, the woman wearing a blue jumpsuit enters the hotel. Then, she is called by a girl who is her coworker and has been waiting for her for a while. The girl goes over the plan in the elevator, ensuring it all goes smoothly. The woman, together with her co-workers, enters a formal party. Then the woman grabs a knife and casually walks up to a white man in a suit. She stabs the innocent man on the neck with no hesitation. The people scream and start to leave in terror as this woman of color repeatedly stabs the man. She then grabs the gun in her purse, asks to be called back, and proceeds to kill herself. But she hesitates. She couldn't pull the trigger even though she had to do it. A group of policemen enter the crime scene and start shooting at the woman. A male cop walks up to the woman's lifeless body and fires one last shot into her head, ending her life right there. The assassin, Tasia Voss, wakes up in her own body, gasping, completely nauseous and vomiting from using the brain implant technology that she is just in. The handler assesses her memories with a series of tests to check if the assassin is back in her body as herself. In front of the assassin is a box filled with personal belongings. These are her objects. One by one, she sorts through each of them. She reminisces about each of the things from her personal belongings. Once she reaches a specific object, she tells her handler about her guilt. She caught a butterfly when she was young and wanted to keep it as a memoir by trapping it inside a glass case. Now that she is older, she still feels guilty about catching that butterfly. The assassin is supposed to reconnect with her true identity throughout the session. The handler expresses her excitement for a new assignment and wishes to ensure that the assassin is at her best. She also reminds the assassin of her current situation regarding her relationship status. The handler disapproves of the assassin's relationship with her family, specifically her husband and son, because she believes that this assassin is better at her job without any personal attachments. During the debriefing session, the handler informs the assassin that she is no longer with her partner, reassuring her that this assassin would only bring danger to her loved ones if she keeps up with the relationship. The assassin struggles with increasing detachment from her own identity. With that being said, she is incapable of fully separating herself from her occupation and her constant interaction with her loved ones. She goes back home to her family. She practices her lines, the way she usually speaks. She takes a hit off her electric cigarette. These are already some mannerisms of hers throughout her career as an assassin. She spends time with her family by having dinner with her husband and their son. Voss suffers from increasing detachment from her own identity due to the time she imitates others. She cannot wholly separate her work from her interactions with her husband Michael and her son Ira. Violent thoughts haunt her during everyday domestic activities. Despite the thoughts of violence that continue to haunt her during her everyday life, she agrees to her next assignment to murder a wealthy CEO and his heiress by taking mind control of the heiress's fiancé Colin Tate. As the assassin prepares to take over the body of the heiress's fiancé, she goes through a list of information to make sure that she knows exactly who she is controlling. The stepson targets the CEO and the heiress because he wants to take over. And once it happens, the assassin's corporation will be able to take complete control of the stepson and his company. The organization uses the particular machine and inserts the assassin's consciousness onto the mind of her new victim, Colin. After the transfer, the assassin now wakes up in the body of Colin. He experiences flashes of memories of the assassin's life at some moments while she is currently inside his consciousness, but she wants to complete her mission and doesn't report this to the organization. Colin gets some alcohol into the system, gets into a fight with John, calls Ava, and is thrown out of the part at a party. At night, the heiress's fiancé enters the mansion once more, grabs a fire iron, and makes his way to the dining hall where the drunk CEO is sitting comfortably. As the CEO leaves for bed, he is not even remotely afraid of his future son-in-law's tactics. The fiancé stabs the CEO in the neck and continuously hits the body with the iron tool. Blood gushes from every part of the victim, and the fiancé proceeds to finish the job by impaling the fire iron in the CEO's mouth. The heiress enters the kitchen and finds her father covered in blood and dying on the floor. Her fiancé grabs the gun and aims at her as she flees the scene. The fiancé lunges the fire iron in the CEO's eye socket for good measure. Meanwhile, the heiress is shot 3 times on her back and struggles to leave, but her fiancé can catch up with her without breaking a sweat and takes care of her permanently. After all this, the assassin in the fiancé's body attempts to leave the crime scene by forcing the possessed body to shoot himself to cover their murder of the CEO. However, she finds out she cannot make him pull the trigger to end everything. The fiancé, who is somehow gaining awareness of what seems to be happening happening in his surroundings, stabs his own skull instead, which damages the device that is currently implanted on his brain. The assassin discovers that she can no longer leave the man's body or even overpower his will due to that. He now regains control over his own thoughts and body, but now he doesn't quite understand the reason why he just murdered his future wife and future father-in-law. The fiancé is now confused. He doesn't know why he starts experiencing the flashes again, this time unknowingly seeing the life of the assassin in his own consciousness. The assassin, still inside the mind of the heiress's fiancé, leaves the crime scene. He flees the apartment of his brunette friend Rita, being disoriented and traumatized. He asks her if he could stay in her place for a little while, hiding from the crime he just committed to the CEO and the heiress. He murders Rita while suffering from dissociative memories of the attack on Parson Ava. Eddie, another Voss employee, arrives at the apartment to assist her in regaining control and completing Tate's suicide. The attempt is a failure. Voss is still unable to persuade Tate to commit suicide. Instead, Tate becomes aware of her presence within his body. His consciousness wins in the end over hers in a psychic battle, granting him access to memories of her husband, child, and home. During their internal struggle, he kills Eddie. Colin finds himself walking along the road on the way to Tasia's family home. He practices his lines the way Tasia does. He takes a puff of smoke from his electric cigarette. As he continues to perform the assassin's habits, he spots her son walking not too far from the house. He manages to speak with the son not even over a minute before Tasia's husband calls the son home. The night falls, and the streets along Tasia's home are brightly lit. The heiress's fiancé is standing a few doors down from his pursue's location. He takes a couple more hits on his electronic cigarette as he watches the house from meters away. Colin then threatens Michael with a gun to Tasia's house, demanding that his situation be resolved. For the sake of her family, he hopes Tasia will get out of his head and set things straight for him. Suddenly, Michael grabs the gun from Colin's grip. Tasia's instincts kick in. She takes back control of Colin and murders Michael. Gerder, who controls Ira, steps forward and fatally stabs Colin in the throat, finding this to be an opportune moment. Colin retorts by turning around and shooting Ira. Tasia doesn't know that Ira is being controlled. This is just her raw, murderous nature lashing out, killing her son. On Colin's final breath, he collapses on the floor right next to the son, drenched in their pool of blood. When Voss returns to her own body, she discovers Gerder has taken control of Ira to end her conflict with Tate. Just as Gerder desired, with both Ira and Michael dead, she is free of all human ties. Voss sorts through the same personal objects from the beginning of the film in another debriefing. She rehandles the butterfly but expresses no remorse for killing it. That's where the film ends. That's all we've got for today, guys. Don't hesitate to like the video and leave a comment telling us how much you enjoyed this movie. We'll see you in the following video. Till then, goodbye.